Hi, I'm Vivian, the knitter.
And I'm Alyson, the crocheter, and you're listening to Keep Calm and Carry Yarn.
Thank you for joining us for episode 23 of Keep Calm and Carry Yarn, a knitting and crocheting podcast brought to you by me, Vivian, and my daughter, Alyson. I'm coming at you from New Hampshire.
And I'm recording here from Scotland. Welcome, guys. We're back to audio only.
It seems like it's been a while since we did one of these, huh?
It kind of feels like it. I also feel like we're slightly more organized when it's audio only. We have our notes in front of us and everything.
Definitely.
Yeah, but, things are back to normal. No EYF excitement and all that jazz.
Yeah, definitely a lot calmer since the 2 weeks from EYF. That was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I was on a high for a long time.
Nice. Yeah, I feel like I'm still kind of buzzing from that. I've been super productive crochet-wise because I was EYF, yarn, friends, stuff, projects. Gotta do all the pictures.
Must finish everything.
Basically. So we've got some thank yous this week and some that have been a long time coming. We've just been stashing them and not mentioning them for a while.
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
So we had a nice iTunes review by Yorkish. I'm not sure when she did it, but I noticed it a few weeks ago. Yay, we got another review. Thank you for the wonderful review.
Yeah, we like iTunes reviews because that makes us feel super legit.
Exactly. On Ravelry, we had Zebra Kitten, who's Lorna, Purple Mama Hooks, who's Lexi, and Chloe, who's Carrie. They all said hello in our welcome thread. So, hi right back at ya. And we actually met Zebra Kitten at EYF.
We did.
Yeah, So hi again.
Hi.
That was so much fun. I don't know if I'm ever going to stop talking about it. I think the rest of the family are okay, we don't want to hear about the yarn anymore. Stop talking about the yarn.
Yeah, well, when my friends and coworkers ask me how it was, I'm I get really excited. I'm how do I explain this in a way that'll make sense to an outsider?
To a muggle. Because they're muggles. And we're not.
So our BuzzFeed quiz, and for any new listeners, it's just our thing. We start every show with a BuzzFeed quiz. It originally started out because I thought it was a good idea as a funny way to for you guys to get to know us, and now we just do our BuzzFeed quiz every week, or every episode.
I think eventually we might run out of BuzzFeed quizzes, so we might have to go through a different avenue, but for now...
well, they don't have to be BuzzFeed, I suppose. But everyone knows what a BuzzFeed quiz is, so this one is, everyone has a tarot card that matches their personality. Here's yours. I know Emma at Potter and Bloom, she's got her tarot card decks, and I don't know, she sometimes talks about them, and it's I don't give them any sort of weight or credence or whatever, but I just the idea of the mythical, and yeah, I don't know. And they're pretty.
They are pretty.
And they make for good literary devices and books and stuff.
Yeah, they're used pretty often, huh?
I got the Lovers. You're someone who's very in touch with your emotions and beliefs. People can't help but notice how authentic you are. They find comfort in the fact that what they see is what they get and trust you easily. You might be a bit of an oversharer at times, but you have an open heart and are always happy to share it with others. I feel like whenever I do the Myers-Briggs person thingies,
yeah.
Whenever it's a question about emotions, or being perceptive to other people's emotions, I'm I never really know how to answer that. And I think I'm pretty emotionally intelligent, but I don't know, for some reason I always second guess myself about that. I'm meh, am I? But I think it's because I have a general lack of self-awareness of myself in general when it comes to anything between, I'm not super clumsy from physical to internal. I don't know what I'm saying, but for the most part I feel like this is kind of true. I can be an overshare at times.
I think I know I can be sometimes. Sometimes things will come out should I have said that? Mm-hmm. But I did not get the same result as you did. I got the Moon.
Mm-hmm.
You're deeply creative and intuitive, and many people find you mysterious, which I find funny. You can be manipulative and have a dark side that you're good at hiding, and maybe have a few skeletons in your closet. That said, there is a distinct dreamlike quality about you, and some might even say psychic. Okay.
I don't agree with any of that
No.
except for the creative side.
The creative and
I was like, oh, it started out. I was like, yeah, that's you. And then the more it went,
no. Pretty much what you see is what you get.
Yeah, and that's basically what mine said. What you see is what you get. So we basically got the total opposite.
Yeah, which is funny. Well, what did you pick for your thingies?
So the first question was pick a crystal, and I picked the malachite, the green one. Because I don't know, I'm really into green right now. I feel like
I picked the one right next. It says peacock ore.
No, I don't like that one.
Just like the color. Actually, the first one I picked was labradorite. I don't know.
Labradorite.
Yeah, and I did have the same result, and then I switched it to see if I would get something different, but I didn't. So I'm like, okay.
What about what color is your aura?
I picked the lavender one. This is the third one down on the left.
The light purple.
The light lavender.
I went for green again.
Which green? The bright one or the muted one?
Kind of spring, the bright one. Oh, I like this question. Where would you feel most yourself?
See, here's one. I picked, the first time I took the test, I picked a brisk sunny day with no responsibilities. And this time I said a bed with freshly washed sheets and an open window.
I picked that one as well. Like, I was actually talking about it with Sam the other day when I first saw this quiz and I saw that answer. I was like, yes. It's just like clean sheets and like when it's like nice and sunny out and or, you know, not sunny, but like, you know, the morning is sunny and you can hear the birds. I think that is perfect.
Yes. Especially if the pillowcases have been dried outside. I love the smell of freshly dried, sun-dried pillowcases. They smell nice.
What does that actually say about us, though? It's like, where would you feel most yourself when we've just woken up and are feeling extra lazy?
Well, the other one I picked was a brisk sunny day with no responsibilities. And what tarot deck did you pick?
There was the Small Spells black and white deck. I like the black and white illustrations.
Which one is that? Oh, that one down there. I picked the Star Child deck. The watercolor smush. Yeah.
So I was actually looking at how you make a BuzzFeed quiz, and they're super simple. As far as I can tell, at least for the ones that regular community users can make. There's no, like, conditional anything. It's basically just one answer corresponds to one result. And then it's how many times you picked. Yeah. I don't know what happens if there's, like, a tie or whatnot. Like, I don't think you can have one result or one answer that corresponds to multiple results or, like, do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So, in case any of us thought these were super accurate and really telling of somebody's personality, they're not.
Well, what was the quote that you picked?
I think I picked a sweet one. I said, "There's only one happiness in this life to love and be loved."
I said, "Life is too short not to have fun." Yeah, I wonder if it all comes down to your zodiac. Because I did it twice, and then I picked different things, and it all came out the same.
Maybe. I don't actually know anything about supposed zodiac personalities, except I feel like Scorpios are meant to be able to, like, hold a grudge, and that doesn't really jive with the Lover's card, I feel
That's what you are? You're a Scorpio?
Yeah, I'm a Scorpio.
See, I don't know. My friends always they're very indignant when they ask me what my children's signs are. I'm like, I have no idea. It's like, I know what their Chinese zodiacs are, but I don't know the other one. No idea. Like, oh, okay, you're a Scorpio.
Yeah, I'm a Scorpio. Emily's a Pisces, and that's all I know.
Oh, see, I don't know any of them. I don't even know what your dad is. I have no idea. So yeah, I'm a very good mother. Yep, I deserve the, what was that T-shirt? That one on one of the quizzes. World's okayest mom.
World's okayest mom, yeah. Something like that.
That's my T-shirt.
Right. So, shall we move into our projects?
Sure.
Do you want to talk about your whips?
I have, well, the same whip that I had last time is the Bubbly by Isabel Kramer. And I'm using some hand-dyed sweaters. Can you see?
You mean yarns?
Yes, hand-dyed yarns. That would be good. So yeah, I'm like most 2/3 done with the torso, maybe, I think, or half, something like that.
The color pooling's not as much of an issue now that you're.
Well, I kind of stopped doing it because it wasn't really making that much of a difference. So like, all this aggravation, it really isn't making that much of a difference. So I just went, whatever.
I feel like because it's just in that gray. It's maybe if it were like a color, like a bright color, it would be more noticeable or more.
Yeah, I think I was just because I only had a little bit of it knit up and I was just staring at me in the face. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, Jillian will just have to deal with it. So right now it's like a crop top size.
Length.
Length, yeah. Can you see it? Is my thing in the way?
I can see it.
So, yeah. This is like my sock knitting right now because it's just stockinette going around. So I've been doing it in the car, the dentist, in front of the TV. So I started a new project just a couple days ago. And I've already made this 2 times. And I've already talked about this before. It's the Piri Floors.
Yeah.
I wanted to make one for myself when I originally bought the pattern.
So how many of these hats have you made now, did you say? This is your 3rd one?
This is my 3rd one.
You are was it Caroline called you the hat goddess?
Yes, she did. Hat goddess. So like, okay, I'm going to adopt that title. So I'm using Jamieson and Smith.
For the whole thing?
Yes.
How many different colors is in it?
6 or 7? I can't remember. I bought this yarn from the Woolly Thistle almost a year ago because it was still in the envelope. I was like, oh, April 24th or something like that when it was mailed. Like, oh. And I kept like pushing it. It's like, I'll make it. I was like, I've got the yarn a year ago. I better knit it now.
Did you buy the yarn specifically to do the hat?
Yes, I did. And remember, one of the colors I ordered was wrong. And then I made you buy me that light blue. Pick it up on your way home. Was it?
No,
when
it was. I just had to go out and get it.
Oh, and you just gave it to me? Oh yeah, you got it for me, and then you gave it to me in January when I was in London. Yeah. So I couldn't start it until after January anyway because I didn't have the right color. Well, I didn't want to order it from the Woolly Thistle for only one little ball and pay for shipping when I was going to be
it's just a 50
London.
gram ball.
Yeah. So it's so pretty.
So the colors, did you pick your own colors? Were they like the colors from the
I think one of the colors I had to
substitute
because Claire didn't have the exact color. But it's funny, when I ordered it, she included a note on the
packing slip,
yes. And she asked me, are you making a Piri Floors? Like, wow, you're good.
So this is the hat that was in Shetland?
Yes, this is the hat that was in the TV show Shetland.
You know what's funny?
What?
I've just been watching the first however many episodes of the 4th season today. This afternoon. Today. Been binge watching it.
Did you watch it before?
I watched the episodes that are on Netflix, but I'm not really sure how many seasons I watched. So it makes sense at least. Like I don't think I watched all 3 series, and it's now on the 4th, but I don't know. I can't remember. I feel like I watched too many of these like police dramas, or is that what you would call them?
Yeah.
Yeah. They just blend into each other.
Yeah. They do. I know. It's like the kind of books I read, there's a lot of murder and gore and stuff. Oh well, because I don't have any, drama and gore in my real life.
Do you watch Shetland?
Yeah.
The hat?
That's how I knew the hat was in it, because I was watching it when I was like, oh, that's the hat that I want to knit.
I like...
What?
I was just saying in the episode I was just watching, the main character guy, policeman guy, detective, he was muttering under his breath because there was a team from Glasgow coming to help them with a case. And, he was a bit indignant because, he was like, they just think we sit here and knit sweaters or something.
The first time I watched it, I didn't notice the hat because I guess it wasn't on my radar or anything like that. You know how PBS, they do the fundraising stuff? And they were giving away...
The hat, the pattern, kit?
the book, Shetland. That's based on? Kate Davies. No, Kate Davies had a book, and that was part of. I guess it wasn't a giveaway. It was if you donate $100, you get the DVD and you get the Kate Davies book. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. I wonder why they're doing that. And then that was when I realized, oh, her some of her patterns show up in the show. And then when I watched it again, I saw the hat. Like, ah. I mean, even though the first time I watched it, I knew about Kate Davies, I just didn't, realize that it was her patterns. Yeah, right. That's a hat for me.
Yeah, you're not very far yet, though. Hey.
I mean, I literally started it the day before yesterday, so I just have the cuff, and then I just started the flowers, the stem of the flowers, in the first row of the actual flower. So yeah, not very far. So, but I'll be done really fast. I mean, it's just a hat. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to line this one, I don't think.
I mean, you only lined the other one because it was too big, right?
It was kind of big, yeah. For a toddler. So, what do you have for whips?
I have just the one whip, basically. So, I am participating in Elizabeth from Earl Grey Crochet's Crochet Along, and it's the Blurre Along. So, we're making the Blurre shawl by Deanne, who is from the Addie Day podcast. So it's basically the crocheted version of the Find Your Fade shawl. Mm-hmm. Or it's a crocheted version. It was one of the projects that
But it's not a triangle shawl.
No, it's a crescent. But like the idea of most people use like speckled hand-dyed yarns, and you can make it. There's a few different versions where you can do either a small or a large, or you can have the colors getting wider as you go along or narrower. Mm-hmm. So I picked the smaller version where the colors get narrower as you go down. Because I figured as you go down, obviously that side's really long. Mm-hmm. So if it's narrow, like there's still a lot of that color anyway. Mm-hmm. So at EYF, I knew I wanted to get yarn for that. And I got some yarn for that. I got the Ching Fibers, which was the soft gray, the color was called, even though it's...
Hardly has any gray in it?
Yeah, but as I'm working it up, I'm like... Actually, there's gray in it, and I can imagine if this were paint and you could just mix it together, it would just end up being gray. Uh-huh. But
it looks so pretty in the ball. It looks so different compared to when it was skeined up.
There's a lot of pink, there's bits of yellow, bits of blue, bright blue, and then the grays. So that is like my middle color, and then there'll be two colors off of that. So the actual shawl... Actually, I've just gotten to the third color. So the first color is a sort of a white that has a few little speckles of random colors, and that's a yarn called Colors Tiny Dancer, and it's a fine fish yarns. And that I didn't get at EYF. I picked it up at Be Inspired Fibers, which is a yarn shop in Edinburgh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I ended up getting some colors from there a week after EYF and some colors at EYF. And Be Inspired Fibers, she was at EYF as well. I don't think we really had a look. But I knew I didn't have to because I can just go there anytime I want. So that's got the white, and then that blends into this sort of bright coral, which also is like speckled with bits of like a darker red. And then that will fade into the Ching Fibers, which has the same sort of bits of coral in it, a little bit. And that will fade into another Ching Fibers that I got at Be Inspired Fibers.
Oh, that's pretty. I like that one.
Yeah, and this one's called The Color is Underwater. And I figured the main colors are sort of this bright blue and then a mint green. And the bright blue picks up some bright blue speckles in the Ching Fibers before it.
Yeah, definitely.
And then that will go into a Skein Queen that I picked up at Be Inspired Fibers as well, which is a mint. And that
so you got 3 skeins there.
I got 2 full skeins and 1 mini skein from Be Inspired Fibers. And then 1 skein and 2 minis at EYF. And that's really all the yarn I need.
Is that all you'll need for the shawl?
Yeah. And I shouldn't use all of the full skeins either, the 100 grams. Although, so I'm blending in the third color, introducing the third color in and blending it with the bright coral. And I've got I have to do 1 more row of this bright coral, I think. 1, 2, oh no, wait. maybe one and a half more rows of this bright coral. Just single crochets. But I have a minuscule amount left. It's maybe like 3 grams. So
what are you going to do?
I don't know if it's going to make it.
You're just going to keep playing yarn chicken?
Yeah, Sam looked at that and he's like, you're not going to make it. Just rip it out now. But I'm just going to keep playing
I'm going to try.
But I do like Deanne's pattern. Her little like descriptions of it. Basically the idea that this project is meant to be relaxing and rhythmic and calming. And so she's got stitch counts for the first few rows, maybe the first 20 or so rows. And then after that, there's just no stitch counts because it's just like, you know what? If you miss a stitch here or there, like it's not going to make a difference. Just keep going.
Just keep going. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Well, you can't really do that in knitting. I mean, I guess you could, but you just have to make sure that you don't have a drop stitch somewhere that's going to run all the way to the bottom.
Yeah. So, and then she was saying if you start to run out of yarn, you can just delete some of the rows from the solid bits, like not the ones where you're alternating colors to do the fade. So if I end up not having enough of this bright coral, I'm going to have to rip out all the rows of fade that I've done.
That's a lot of rows. Isn't that a lot of rows?
It'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows.
Yeah, but those rows are pretty long.
Yeah, but that's alright. I'd rather do that because I think then your actual like fadey bits are the same. It's just that the solid bit of the color is slightly narrower, which is not a huge deal. Ripping it out might be a huge deal, but I'm also not entirely sure if I'm the way we're meant to carry the color changed yarn up along the project so you don't have all the loose ends. I don't know what the best way to do that is, so I've just kind of been fudging it. I think that's fine. And then there's the parts where you've got your stitch markers to mark where you do the increases, and I don't really know how that's meant to work with crochet. Like, where do you put, like, if you put the stitch marker around the post or around the V, and then if that marks, like, what that marks, like, if she says to go up until the stitch marker and then do an increase, do you do the increase
after?
Yeah, in the stitch after the stitch marker was in, or the stitch that the stitch marker was in. But the thing is, it doesn't really matter because it's not an exact science anyway. Like it's gonna be the general shape I need it to be.
Yeah.
The cowl started on the 30th, which was 3 days from today when we're recording. Although technically, I started it the day before because I just couldn't wait.
Oh, you're disqualified.
No. I can't wait until I get into like the blue bits just to get some more of the blue in because right now it's very pink.
Yeah, we can see that.
It's very pink. But yeah, so
nice.
That's my whip.
I'm looking forward to seeing the blue parts. That'll be really pretty. Yeah. Well, not that this part isn't pretty. It's all pretty.
It's also nice because just doing it, it's because it's just sock yarn, but it's the Ching is superwash merino, and the other ones are, I think, a blend of superwash merino and nylon. But the other scarves and shawls that I've made have been done with like pretty like rustic wool, even though they were fingering. So they're nice, but doing this, I'm like, oh, it's soft and it's drapey, and it's like it just feels way different than the other shawls that I've made. So
it's just why I keep buying sock yarn.
Yeah, I mean, I only bought sock yarn at the festival. Yeah, it's a bit different, and it's nice. I'm like, oh, this is why people like to make shawls and stuff. I'm like, it's so nice.
They're funny.
Do you have any FOs?
I do. I only have one, and guess what? I left it downstairs. But you were already seeing the pictures of it.
And you posted on Instagram already.
I posted it on Instagram. That's your hat. Happy birthday!
Oh, it's not my birthday.
I know. It's not until the end of the year, but But yeah, it came out good.
Would you like to share with our listeners what the hat is?
Yes, I'm about to. The pattern is called Tied Knots. the designer?
I don't know, but you got it as a free pattern from Martin's Lab.
I did, yeah. I got it. And I used Julie Aslin Nurtured, which is actually a worsted weight yarn. And the pattern calls for DK. So to make it work, I took out one of the pattern repeats because it's all cables and stuff. So instead of 5 repeats, there were 4 repeats.
I see.
And yeah, so I mean, other than that, like the numbers were a little different, but it worked out. It worked out perfectly. And also, I didn't make it as I didn't follow the pattern where you go 2.5 vertical repeats. I only did 2 because it would have been way too long if it would have been like
right,
yeah,
extra super slouchy.
Yeah.
The pattern is by Justina Lurkowska.
Yeah, that's it. And so yeah, I'm really. I think I want to do it again in a DK yarn. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with it.
But yeah, you basically you probably mentioned.
So that was my first EYF FO.
Yeah, didn't take you very long because it was a hat.
Because it was a hat, yeah. That was why Caroline called me the hat goddess because I finished it so quickly.
But yeah, I really liked that color of the yarn that you got, which is why I was
like a minty.
Yeah, because you did say like, oh, I can make a hat. I don't need any more yarn, and I was like, oh, you can make a hat for me. But I think it needs a pom pom.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, do you want a pom pom? Do you want a fur pom pom, or you want a yarn pom pom?
Either.
It would look really cute with like a gray fur pom pom, like a faux fur.
Yeah.
Or I can get there. They sell the rabbit ones or the raccoon.
Raccoon.
I've seen raccoon. Yeah.
What?
In like a gray raccoon. I don't know. Maybe belly.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well,
it's definitely not the tail.
Oh God. I was gonna say either way, whether it's faux fur or yarn, a different color, some sort of contrasting something.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll look. I think maybe one of the knitting ladies has she has a bag of faux fur pom poms.
Really?
She bought. Because she bought them off of Amazon, and I guess she couldn't figure out how big they were, so she kept like ordering them. Like, oh no, that's not the right size. She ordered up the bag. It's like a big bag, and from like all these and each bag is a variety of colors. It's not like 10 gray ones. It's like 10. There's like a black and a brown, and and some of them are dyed. And so she just pulls out this bag like, oh. Like, I don't need one right now, but I'll have to remember that. I'll have to buy one off of her.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good to have yarn friends. Yarny friends.
Yeah.
So what is your FO?
I've got 2. So the first one, I've posted to Instagram already as well. And I've talked about it before. It's just my scarf for Sam. It's just a waffle stitch, simple, color-blocked scarf. He picked the yarn.
Cashmere, right?
No, it's alpaca. Merino alpaca. It's just the Rowan alpaca, Rowan alpaca soft DK, something like that. But it is really soft, and that's why Sam picked it, because it's soft and very squishy. And it's very long. I almost thought it was too long. I feel like I should have made it a bit wider, because it's so long and heavy. It drags itself and becomes skinnier than what I thought it was going to be. So it definitely could have been wider. It's not too skinny, but because it was getting so long, and I've done it so that the ends are both maroon and then the middle section is gray, as I was finishing up the second maroon section, I was like, oh, maybe I'll just make it asymmetrical and just only do like half of that. Because this maroon section is a ball and a half of yarn. So I thought maybe I'll just do not the full length. And it'll be asymmetrical, it'll be fine. And Sam was like, nah, he was not feeling that. I feel like I know better than him, and I feel like asymmetrical would have been fine, but he wanted it to be symmetrical, so it's a very long scarf. So that's that. He likes it. He's worn it a few times. And then the other thing I have is my mittens.
Which is so cute.
My photographer mittens by Carmen Jacob. And they're the ones with the little slits for your pointer finger and for your thumb. Yeah. And so I know I mentioned before, I made these once before when I first started crocheting, and they were too small because my tension was really tight. And I think the stitch in general is really tight.
It's very dense.
It's very dense, yeah. But it's the waistcoat stitch, and it looks like knitting, basically.
Yeah, it does. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, definitely at EYF there was a few people who are like, are you crocheting that? So,
but it also looks bulletproof.
But I've worn it a couple times to work, and they've kept me nice and toasty. And it's nice because it's like, obviously, it's nice to be able to get your finger out because then I can check my phone if I want to. But even when it comes to putting my hand in my pocket to grab my bus pass or something, just having that one extra finger makes it way easier to get stuff. Rather than like trying to stuff a giant mitten into your pocket. Just like get a finger in there. So that's really handy. And so I color blocked them myself, and I sort of was getting lazy when I got to the second pair. The pattern, it's a free pattern, and because obviously crocheting has a lean to it. You're meant to do the right and the left hands differently, so that I think the lean is symmetrical. Rather than going the same way. But I didn't do that. I was just like, I'm just going to use the same instructions. But then because my color blocking didn't really, I've kept it in the same place, but also not the same place because it's the same, but a different hand. I don't really know. It doesn't actually look the same when you look at it. When you look at like where the slits are, the slit on one hand is quite
it's close. That was
into the yellow section. Yeah, and the other one is on the edge. And so
nobody's gonna notice.
Yeah,
that.
no one is going to notice that. But I know it's there, and I couldn't really figure out why. I think it's something to do with I ended up just crocheting them in the round, like just as a spiral instead of chaining one between each row because I don't like the way that looks. But I think because
that's why people like to chain one.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do an experiment because I don't really understand that. Well, I'm happy with them.
They look very nice.
Yeah, and I keep smelling them because they're the Iona.
They're very shippy. Yeah. I know that I was doing that with the nurtured yarn, the Julia. I kept smelling it. I was like, what are you doing? It's so shippy. Yes, your mother's being stupid.
But I almost want it. I mean, it's been pretty cold the last few days. Just in the 30s some part of the day. But I almost want it to be even colder so I can wear this. But I don't. I want it to get warmer now.
Yeah, well, you'll be able to wear them in the fall.
So I actually have a Mommypedia this week.
Woohoo! What is your Mommypedia?
I want to make the pleated cardigan by Cat Golden, and I got the yarn at UIF. I've done the swatch, and I'm ready to start making it, but I don't know what size to do.
So which yarn did you get?
It's the John Arbin Knit by Numbers 4-ply.
Yeah, that's so pretty.
Yeah, in sort of most saturated.
It's so funny. So many people have posted the John Arbin wall of the Knit by Nose
because it's so pretty. I was even showing one of my coworkers because it's so satisfying that it's like it's a rainbow and it's tonal. Yeah.
I'm a little sad that I didn't take more pictures. I really didn't take.
Yeah, we didn't take any pictures of the environment.
Yeah, I wish I. But you had your
So I have this thing called a narrative clip, and it takes a picture between every 10 minutes or every minute, 10 seconds or every minute, depending on the setting. So I had it going every 10 or 30 seconds or something. I just downloaded those pictures, so I need to go through them. And obviously the quality isn't great. For one thing, the quality would be better if it was sunlight. And it's completely inside, so things are a bit blurry. But I think there might be some pictures of
that you can use
different things.
Yeah, I was just so like, it's just so much eye candy. I just forgot that you should take some pictures. I didn't. At least there's Instagram.
Yeah,
you can look at other people's pictures.
But yeah, so basically, I was getting confused because the table to find your size, it's got one thingy that says to fit bust and then measurements, and then one that says actual bust and then measurements. And then I wasn't sure which one I meant to use. So, for instance, the smallest size is to fit bust 32 inches, but the actual bust is 34.5 inches.
So that would be the actual would be the measurement of the garment. And so you need to decide if you want it, because usually at least with knitting, I'm sure it's the same with crochet, you have negative or positive ease. Negative ease is when you wear something that's smaller than your actual body measurement, so it stretches over you, right? Because sometimes you want something with negative ease, and other times you want positive ease, where the garment is actually wider than you.
Baggy.
Yeah, baggy. But, by 1 inch or 2 inch or 3 inches, depending on the kind of look or the kind of garment that you're making. So you have to decide whether you want like a 2 inch positive ease or whatever,
right,
or a 1 inch negative ease. And a lot of times patterns will say the sample is shown in a 2 inch positive ease or something like that. I mean, good patterns will say that. Not all patterns say that.
This is just a photocopy from a magazine.
I wonder if you go on Ravelry, there will be more notes.
Anyway, okay, so I just thought it was funny that
I know sometimes they'll say garment size of garment rather than actual.
Yeah, actual bust. So like my actual bust size? No, the garment actual bust size.
So I think that's a little confusing.
Yeah, and then especially because they've got to fit bust, actual bust, and then sleeve, and then actual length. So I assume the sleeve is the sleeve length, and then the actual length is from
I don't know
the collar to the bottom, maybe? Because it's quite a... Oh, no, maybe not. What? So say for that same small size, the sleeve says 13 inches, but the actual length is 27.5 inches. So I assume that's the length of, like, the full length of the garment from the collar to the...
Is it raglan?
No, I think the sleeves might be like 3/4.
No, I mean
the style? I don't think so. I can't tell. The picture in my printout is really crap. I don't think it's a raglan sleeve, no. No, it's not. It's like, straight. What's that?
Is the sleeves knit separately and then sewn?
Yeah. It looks like it. Yeah. The sleeves are done separately.
I'm forgetting words. I'm sorry.
So would sleeve length be from the sort of top of your shoulder down to where it goes? Anyway. Okay, so basically you have answered my question about the bust thing now. I think
set in sleeve, that's what I was saying. But I'm looking at the picture. It looks like almost like a puff sleeve.
Yeah, maybe. Well, it's got a pleat.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that'll add volume, add length.
But yeah, I don't think it actually closes the cardigan. Like, I think it's just like an open cardigan. But yeah, I think I will go with the to fit bust 35 maybe. I was listening to 2U's Fiber Adventure podcast, and it was a few episodes ago, and they were talking about positive ease and how she'd done the math to figure out what 2 inches or whatever of positive ease actually equates to, like in terms of like how much space there is around you, because 2 inches, 4 inches, like it seems like a lot, but once it's a circle and it's distributed across your whole body, it doesn't actually make it super baggy. And she had like a nice little formula, and I can't remember what it was. Maybe I'll just put a link to it in the
Oh, that's interesting.
Description.
Are they crochet?
They're mostly knitters, but they do a bit of crochet and other like weaving and stuff like that. Marsha and Kelly.
One way you can, it's like if you have like your favorite store-bought sweater, and you measure it and see what the ease is, and you can figure out from there what your preferred way of wearing, certain sweaters and stuff. So that's one way you can figure that out. Yeah, that looks pretty.
Yeah, like I said, I did the swatch, and top tip for any new crocheters, and also I know we've talked about like swatching best practices, which I was not following. I was doing my swatch and I was driving myself absolutely banana crazy because I was like, the stitch count was off both, or the gauge was off for both the row height and the stitch count, but in opposite directions. So I didn't have enough stitches, but I had too many rows, and I was thinking, like, what am I going to do to fix this? And then I started to do another one with a different hook size, and then I was like, right, I'm supposed to wash and block this. So I've washed it and I've blocked it. So I've blocked it and just stretched it a bit vertically, and it's pretty much
spot on.
It's not quite bang on, but it's much closer. So I think it'll be fine. But I was, oh my god, I spent like a day just like getting more and more frustrated. And because I was texting you, I was like, I don't know what to do. Why does this always happen to me? Because I wasn't being good about it.
Yeah, I mean, with garments, you really need to do as much swatching as you can, because it has to fit your body.
Yeah, I feel like my row count is still, like, if I could stretch it a little bit more, like if I had stretched it a little bit more, but I don't know, like, at what point, like, how much can you stretch it before it starts to not
looking right,
before it starts to want to bounce back? I don't know. I think it's okay. The yarn is quite soft as well.
Yeah, it does look very soft, even on the monitor. It looks very squishy.
Pure Falklands merino wool.
Nice.
Did you have any yarny bits and bobs this week?
I do. It's not yarny per se, but I did. I went the week before EYF, and obviously in between our recordings, I went to Webs with a bunch of friends. And I was saying to myself, why the heck am I going to Wetwebs the week before I go to a yarn festival? And they're like, oh, because you're going to have fun with us. Because the ladies, this is one of my knitting groups. One of the ladies, the husband owns a business, and he has this fancy bus that has like 2 TVs. It's Madeline said, it's a party bus. It's a really fancy party bus. So we took this said party bus all the way out to Northampton, Massachusetts, which is about 2 hours away. And it was so nice. We just sat in there, and so the husband drove. I was like, are you sure this is a good thing? This is, he's going to see all the yarn that you get. It's like, oh, whatever. So he drove, and there's like this barrier thingy, and it closes up, and he can't even see us. And we were watching some knitting documentary that was in Swedish or Norwegian. I don't know what it was in a foreign language. We really couldn't hear it because we were all talking and the sound was down, and so there was just subtitles. And they were just anyway. So we were watching that. That was in the background while we were talking, and we just it was just so much fun just going to the giant yarn store with your yarny friends. And we got there, and because we were a group of 6, one of the ladies called ahead and said, we have this group of 6. It's like, oh, if it's 6 or more, we'll give you a tour and a $25 coupon.
What?
Yeah, so
what? $25?
Not $25, 25% coupon. So
I was like, what?
Normally when you go to Webs, if you spend more than $60 on yarn, you get like a 20%, and if you spend more than $100, you get 25%. But they were going to give us the 25 for just all of us. But it only works on hardcover books and yarn that's not already discounted, because they have like this whole discount area. Yeah. So I spent the least amount of money knowing that I was going to go to EYF. I just bought a couple of things to make gifts. Yes. And so two of the ladies had never been there, and I just liked watching their reactions, like, oh my god. Because there's that whole back warehouse area, and they were just like running amok back there. And at one point, I'm like, okay, I'm going to pay for my purchases. And it came out to be about $80. I just sat there and I was just knitting. They had like a shopping cart full. They're just pushing that around. It's like kids in candy shop. It was so funny. It was very enjoyable watching them like running around, and Paula, our leader, was like, because she's the knitting teacher, and she was helping them find appropriate yarns for the different patterns. I couldn't even keep track of what they were trying to buy, and I was like, whatever. I'm just here for the fun of being with my yarny friends. I got a shawl pin, the one with the sheep. I'll take a picture of it. That was one of my purchases, and then after that, we went to the Yankee Candle outlet. That place is huge. I actually got lost in there. Like, I left my phone in the bus. Like, 2 of us left our phones in the bus, and so we couldn't find each other for a long time. I didn't buy anything there because I'm not all that big on candles. If I want a candle, I'll go get it at TJ Maxx.
I feel like Yankee Candle also has like it's very synthetic smelling. Like, none of them smell subtle. They do not do subtle.
After a while, I was like, okay, I'm getting really dizzy smelling all this stuff. And so I didn't buy anything. I was having a good time just looking at their other gifts, like the purses and the little bags and stuff like that. A couple of the ladies went a little nuts in there too. So that was a lot of fun. And then we made the drive home. So that was that. And then the weekend after I got back from UIF, my friend Paula was like, Stitches is next weekend. You said you wanted to go. I was like, oh yeah, crap. I did say I wanted to go. I can't go to Stitches. I just got back from Edinburgh, and it was on a Saturday that they were going. I felt like I hadn't seen your dad in weeks because he was traveling a lot. And the weekend that he wasn't traveling, I was actually gone, and we didn't even see each other because what was it? I had to make it to the airport myself. Yeah, I had to drive myself to the airport, leave the car at the airport, take a picture, and tell him where to get the car. And then he flew in, got the car, and then he had to leave before I got home, so I had to take the bus home. Right. And so it was like I hadn't even seen him for weeks. What?
So where's the story going?
Yeah, so anyway, so I didn't go to Stitches because of all that. But Paula did, and she came home with this adorable fabric for me. Because this isn't just yarn. It's yarn and fabric, too. It's like all needlework. It's not just knitting and crocheting. So they've got knitting and quilting and other embroidery, textiles. And she came home with this fabric that has sheep on them. Oh my God. They're different sheep that are dressed as different
doctors.
Doctor Who
doctors.
Yeah.
That is so random.
And then one of the sheep, I mean, some of them are knitting, and then they're sitting on a police box that says sheep police box. Can you see that?
Sheep police box?
Yeah, like sheep. That's one word.
Oh, sheep police. That didn't sound any different than before.
Yeah. So she was saying that she saw this fabric. Blue is my favorite color. She saw a fabric, and it's on a blue base. And she didn't even know what it was, so she asked the woman at the stand, like, "Is that nerdy?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's Doctor Who is nerdy." She's like, "Okay, I'm getting it. It's sheep."
I was gonna say, I'm surprised she would have known that was Doctor Who, but she didn't.
I know. That's what I said. She's like, "Yeah, I had to ask them," and I was like, "Okay, I guess you think I'm a nerd." And she just looked at me like, "Of course you're a nerd." Like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, you nerd.
So it's funny that she had to ask the woman, "Is this nerdy?" You can't get any nerdier than that. So yeah,
but like, how did she know to ask that either? Like, she looked at him like, there's a reference here. I do not understand it.
I'm not getting it. It must be a nerdy reference. So yeah, and then there's one of the sheep is knitting with 2 different sonic screwdrivers. Another one is knitting his own scarf. So yeah, this is definitely going into my personal stash, and I'll be making something for myself. It's not going into my shop. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I just had to talk about it because it was just too funny. So do you have any yarny bits and bobs?
No. I mean, other than my trip to Be Inspired Fibers to get more
So where
yarn.
exactly is that?
It is south of the Meadows.
So how far is it from your place? Basically?
It's like a walk.
Oh, okay. So that's nice.
It's a kind of on not the complete other side of town, but it's not as close as John Lewis. That's right outside my door, basically. Bruntsfield. It's in Bruntsfield. Not that means anything to you, but
no, I was just wondering how far it is. I wonder if it was one of those places that I can stop at when I visit you in August.
Yeah, it's.
Is it
I mean,
worthwhile
it's in town. It's 2 miles away.
Oh, okay.
But it's so in terms of the yarn shops in Edinburgh, that one's got lots of indie dyers, hand dyers. Like, obviously, I bought the Skein Queen and the Ching fibers, and so they've got lots of stuff sort of along those lines. Mm-hmm. And then the I can never say Mickery brothers. They've got like the Rowan, and
this is a different story we're talking about.
Yeah. So this is where I got like the yarn for Sam's scarf. So they've got more branded yarns, I suppose.
Commercial,
yeah. No, yeah, commercial. And then
And then you have Ginger Twist.
Yeah, Ginger Twist. Ginger Twist has like her own hand-dyed yarns with some other like indie yarns, I think, or like local, quote unquote, more local than whatever. And then Kathy's.
It's just called Kathy's.
Ooh.
That's the one that
Kathy's knits, but she's the one that I'm a little
scared of.
Scared of, yeah. But she's got like a mix, I think, of different. She had the Samoan and she had the Jamesons Jameson and Smith. Mm-hmm. That's what it was, because that's where I got your Jameson.
So I guess when I'm out there in August, I'll just pick one because I'll be with Muggles on that trip.
Yeah, well, I was looking at some Catherine, I think she posted she went to the Knock and Do Mills. Since going to UIF, and I was like, I wonder where that is, and it's like, it's up north, and we're doing that trip to Inverness, and I'm like, no one else is gonna want to go, so.
They might, because it's not just yarn; they have like other things, like textiles too, right? I
have no idea, but I don't know. I'll put it on the list of things to search.
Okay,
but yeah. So anyway.
Shop talk. Oh, we talked about the tea towels that I bought in Edinburgh. I only made one of them into a bag because I had to go shopping to match some fabrics. So I made the first one, which is the wellies on the woolies.
Is that what
I'm calling it? Wellies on woolies. Yeah, they're so cute. And look at the handle I used. It's like knit. It's like stocking net. No, yeah, it's like knitted. So yeah, that one matches.
That's really cute. And it matches the tartan on there.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have anything that was red and green that didn't look like Christmas. So that was like, oh, that's perfect. So yeah, so that, and I also acquired some. What would you call these? The tartan scrap.
Tartan off, yeah.
Offcuts, yes. So I made a bunch of tartan bags, but we don't know what kind of tartan they are. I'm just calling it blue tartan and brown tartan. So I made a couple of sock size.
You had that other brown, didn't you, as well?
I didn't make anything out of that one yet, though.
That one I think is Stuart Hunting Antique.
Oh,
but I don't know what this blue and other brown one.
And then I made a medium one that's all tartan. I didn't add any other fabrics. Plus the linen, what's this called? Flap. So I like that. Those I haven't actually listed in the shop yet, but they will be in the shop when we post this episode. But these guys I've already posted. There's some of the fabrics I started working on before we left for EYF, and I just finished them up when I got home. But I've already sold some of the sushi bags. And the little kitty bag.
Cats and yarn.
And llamas! So
I should note your tartan fabrics, they're wool.
They're 100% wool.
They're all
milled in Scotland.
Got to upsell.
Yes. And then there's the blue sheet bag I made.
Nice.
I was so busy prior to going to EYF, and then coming home from EYF, I had, just the regular catching up with laundry and cleaning and all that fun stuff that I had to do before I start. So all I want to do is knit and sew, but then life is getting in the way.
But yeah, so if anyone is interested in any of those bags, you are Pearl and Plum on Etsy.
Yep. Come and take a look.
Okay. Well, you can find our show notes at kcacypodcast.wordpress.com. You can follow us on Instagram at the same, kcacypodcast, or you can follow our personal Instagrams. I'm Alyson here, and my mom is upstate_Viv. There's links to those on our podcast Instagram. And then, make sure to follow, subscribe on iTunes or YouTube or wherever else you get your podcasts, and join our Ravelry group. Just search Keep Calm and Carry Yarn podcast in the groups tab. So thank you for listening.
And remember to keep calm and carry yarn.